Good morning. I want to welcome you to Prison to Praise Ministering Center and to the Radio Talk Back 7 program. I'm your host, Pastor Sierra Brown. So glad you could join me this morning. We want to talk a little bit about thermal stress. I want to talk a little bit about mental stress. So if you will, grab your cup of coffee, sit down, and take a listen to what I've got to say this morning. I think it will be good for you. I think it's something you need. I think it's something that God has put you here to listen to. Now, I've learned some very, very interesting things about stress. Even when I went to the doctor and I learned about stress, because I've been to the point of having panic attacks, having anxiety. These things, and you think it's bad, and it is bad. But we need to learn to control it, not let it control us. Because if it controls us, and it controls everything God has made us to be, and makes us the person that God didn't make us to be, but we've allowed through our lives. Uh, there's many kinds of stress. There's a what it's called. It's called actually a thermal stress. It's a body experiences thermal stress when it goes from one temperature, like it could be 80 degrees in your house, and you step outside and it's 30 degrees. And that's going from one extreme to another. Okay, and if it's like, say, 80 or 90 degrees inside your house, and you go outside and it's 30 degrees outside, and then you go out into that extreme cold and you run, say, out to the curb just to jump into your car to get into your heated car, and then you wait for it to get nice and warm and toasty. Your body is experiencing drastic change because when you get out of that car and then you run back through that cold and back into where the heat is again, from the places that you go, you hurry back out into that cold and then get back into the warm. And what I'm saying here is you get from your car being warm because you go out there and start it, let it warm up, and you come from the car where it's cold and back into the cold, back into the heated area, then back from the heated area back to the cold, back to that's a thermal stress that puts uh, stress on your body. It can cause a lot of things. See, you travel from going to the store or whatever after you gotten out there and you went to the store, then back home, then you're getting back out and getting back from the store into your vehicle, and you travel back home and it's nice and comfortable in your car. Then uh, then you go from where the heat is back out. You step back out in the cold. You're back in the cold again, and then you go back into the heat again. But anyway, I've said that to say this: all that change in temperature puts pressure on your body, and this is according to what doctors have said. But that kind of stress places a strain on the physical body. So mental stress, see, places strain on the mind, and it places a strain on your nerves. Now, that was what thermal stress is. Let me talk a little bit this morning about mental stress, if you will. And there's a whole lot of you people out here this morning that do this. I've done it before my own self, but I ain't bragging about it. Don't want to brag about it. Don't like it. But it's happened to each and every one of us. Mental stress comes from trying to figure out everything you can't figure out. It comes from worrying. It comes from thinking about the same thing over and over and over without making any progress in what you're thinking about. How many of us have done that? How many of you have done that? And you're trying to find a solution, but then you're not finding anything. And mental stress also is allowing the mind to run on and on by dwelling on little. Now listen to me. It's dwelling on little thoughts inspired by the devil. Amen. And don't tell me it don't happen, because it does. Okay, you can tell me it don't, but it does. Believe me, I know. I've been there my own self. Uh, but we need to refuse, my friend, when that mental stress starts, we need to refuse to give our bodies, and sometimes we do refuse to give our bodies the rest that it calls for. Then, if we don't give it the rest that it calls for, and we're worrying, we go to bed tonight worrying, we get up worrying, whatever, you're not getting no rest. Many times, if we would just sit down and get quiet, shut up and listen, and do something peaceful for about, say, 10 to 15 minutes, that would be very refreshed. You see, our bodies have an amazing ability to rebuild and rejuvenate and renew itself and return to normal pretty quickly. But see, if we refuse to give our bodies the rest, then we're asking for big time, and I mean big time trouble. Pushing our bodies into overload and continuing to push and push as if we are Superman, or if we're a macho Christian. That don't happen. Sometime or another is going to cause something to give physically. Sooner or later, it's going to nail you right in the head. It's going to nail you where you don't want to be nailed. Whether you're middle aged, older, or you're a young person, pushing your body beyond its physical limits, you may continue that way for a while. And you might feel great for a while. But I want to tell you something, and I can tell you from experience, but you are going to and will severely damage yourself. All of a sudden, you're going to wonder what happened. You're going to wonder what went wrong. One day, your body will say, I can't do this anymore. One day, your body's going to tell you that's it. So, when that happens, and something in your body or mind will break down, or you'll become ill, because it's very serious. It can cause you very serious problems. Pushing your body to the point of damage by not supplying it with the rest and food God created is disobedience to God. Let me say that. Pushing your body to the point of damage and not supplying it with the rest and with the food that God has given us is disobedience. Your body can become severely damaged as a result of this type of disobedience. Of course, God is the healer, And God is merciful. But let me say this in closing. After a lot of years of disobeying Him, you may find it more difficult to receive your healing, or believing God for your divine health. While you may be healthy and add obedience to God's law, the Bible teaches us to eat properly, get good rest. Are you listening to me this morning? And not be lazy, and get plenty of physical exercise. I want to thank you for joining me on Prison to Praise Ministering Center's Radio Talkback 7. I pray you'll tell others about this. If you're stressed, it's better to be blessed than stressed. So if you're having problems, whether they be mental, physically, spiritually, join me each week. Let God bless you. Let God take this stress and let Him bless you instead of the stress. Until next time, go with God, and He will guide you into all truth. God bless you, my friends.